Is your stamped concrete discolored, fading, or cracking? Don't replace it, reface it. At ACS Affordable Concrete Solutions, we restore patios, pool decks, driveways, and more for a fraction of the cost to replace it. We fix sealer issues, can change the color, or restore your entire patio with little disturbance to your surrounding area. Also offering a wide variety of concrete coatings. If you're in Lorain or the surrounding counties, visit www.concreteacs.com or call 855-BLAST-24 for a free quote today.
You know, where the fuck Dub at, man? Where the fuck he go? Here I am. You looking for me? Yo ass is fine.
Boy, that got Dub, and I'm back with another video. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Deuce from me and my big bro. Yeah, fuck this no. He said he gonna teach me how to wrestle, man. I'm gonna win the belt.
Cause I'm back for ya.
The boy Dub Deuce in the building.
What up, what up, what up? It is that guy Dub, and I'm back with another video. How you doing? At the end of the day, shout out, I'm good money. And without further ado, we got a special guest in the building, the world-renowned comedian Tyrone. What's happening, brother?
What's up, good brother? How you, man?
I'm good, man. Just sitting here maintaining, man. Just like you said, day already started off pretty rocky, but we said we're gonna get through it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's like you know, it's been calling for like the windstorms and all that stuff with all today.
Dude, I closed the window. I didn't know what the hell was going on outside. I just heard like the end of the world sound like, you know what I mean? It was rustling and wind and fire and brimstone, all that shit.
Right. Well, you said a tree fell down in my next door neighbor's house and knocked out all of our power. You said throughout the street. So we're dealing with that right now. But me being a consummate professional, I found I have a portable charger, so I can still do this interview with my good brother Tyrone.
Oh, that's dope. So yeah, the show must go on. The show must go on.
Yes, sir. So you said, for those who don't know, you're comedians. How long you been doing comedy?
A little bit over a year and a half. I started September 11th, 2021.
Okay.
So almost 2 years.
Okay, so what was it that brought you to, you said, to get on that stage and you said, and do this thing we call comedy?
Oh man, I was always kind of funny, and before this, I was working in the funeral business. So it kind of gave me the confidence. I'm like, damn, if I can get people laughing on pretty much the worst day of their life, then drunk people in the bar should be easy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a funny way of looking at it, because like I hear a lot of comedians, they'll sit there and they'll all say that some comedians have the most tragic lives, but they're able to find the funny in it, which is why a lot of people can relate to them. So you saying yeah. Make a correlation from people having the worst day of their life with a funeral to drunk bar. You say it's like, because no matter where you go, you're gonna find some funny in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
you might be on something though. Like it's kind of the same thing. I just use external trauma, other people's trauma, and flipped it into funny.
Right. So so what is your preparation right before you get on stage? Because like a lot of times you don't know what the crowd is. You might know some people in the audience, but you don't know how you said this joke may have worked yesterday or that joke may have worked last week. So what is your preparation to be like? No matter what, I'm gonna push through. What's your preparation?
Usually 2 shots of tequila, and then I drink while I'm on stage. That definitely helps calm the nerves. But yeah, I really just try to write to where it's funny. Like not black funny, not white funny, not old funny, just funny generally. Like I make a few audibles. Like if I'm going to a white room, I might not do jokes where I'm making fun of black folks. You know, that's some shit we talk about at the house. You know, this ain't for company, you know what I mean? But other than that, I really don't make any too many changes in my set.
Okay. So to you, what's easier to do? Because I mean, both of them are very complicated. You said if you think about it, what's easier to do to use your written material, or do you find it easier and you said more natural if you throw an audible?
You know what? Like, I don't know if it's easy. It was like just at a point in my career where I trust my instincts to freestyle. Like, I always believed in my writing. So I was heavy in bars, but I don't know. Like a lot of my freestyles, the passion and the authenticity of the moment, lightweight makes it funnier than the shit I prepared.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's all in the moment. I don't preference. It's easy. You do.
Right. So you just like, okay, let's go with a scenario. So you've got a heckler in the crowd, and he's just like me. You remember when we when I saw you at the Halloween show that Lex had, and there was that guy in the back going,
Yes.
Each one of y'all was able to deal with that guy. I know he pretty much pissed everybody off just because he was just all over the place. But you was just like, you said, how do you like jump out of your set and then you said pivot to, okay, I'm about to get my rocks off on this guy for a second, then jump back.
Yeah, shoot, that is the ultimate improv. Like you know what I'm saying? You didn't even know this was gonna happen. You had a whole song you was ready to sing. His own solo. It's like, hold on, man. That's really what it is. Just having that ownership. Like, this is my stage. It's my mic. It's my time. You know, I'll make it all about you. I wrote some good shit y'all gonna enjoy, but I will destroy you if I have to.
Mm. Well, you said it's like, that's another thing that's funny because you said this how you set your jokes up. You said it's like I've been getting people to tune into my channel because you said, like, as I'm scrolling down my Facebook while we sitting on break at work, I happen to go past one of your reels or something like that, and you said people are still talking. You said because I showed them that reel about the you said, what was it? It was the masculine energy. And you said, and even women are like, he damn sure right. So I'm just letting you know. You said, like, you got people out here. You said championing you, but you said you forward, brother. You said just like it.
Yeah, I'm a man's rights. I'm a man's rights activist. I'm trying to get us some love again.
Hell yeah, you said, but you said your moniker is the Fresh Prince of Welfare. Where did that come from?
Because my life was kind of the opposite of Will Smith's. Like, I grew up privileged with a lot of just when people had some money, and then when I got older, I moved back to the hood up here in Cleveland. You know, so my life is like if Carlton would have moved to West Philadelphia. That's my life.
So you said, like, most Negroes want to get out of the hood. You said, nah, fuck it, let's go in there.
Yeah. You know, and that's weird though. That's like I guess I kind of had what you call hood envy. You know, because I've always looked and spoken like this, so my blackness has always been in question, and I always wanted to prove myself and be down. So I'm like, man, I'm going to the Mecca. I'm going to where the niggas at.
There's nothing wrong with that because you should just, like, if you look at, okay, let's take movies for example. You should just, like, throughout the Creed movies, for him to get ready for that big fight, he had to go into the jungle. You said to bring it. So I get that sentiment, and it's actually you saying because like you're not going to get it in the suburbs. You're not going to. You said you have to get down there. You said in the dirt. You said to be able to get it. So you said that's very commendable. You said because it shows. You said you have it. You said a love for your craft that you want to get that. You want to actually be able to feel this, like just like to say if you were an actor, you want to go to an area that is mimicking the character that you're trying to portray. So like that's what's up. So like
yeah, but it translated to the craft. It was really more personal. It was really more about like just trying to be part of my people. And it's like, hey, I sound different, but no, I'm still. I'm just as cultured. I'm just as in about the culture, about us. As anybody else.
Right. I just thinking about something else real quick. It's just I had a comedian Tank with a C on not too long ago.
That's my dog.
It was funny because when he started the interview, he did it without his glasses. And because I had this whole little joke plan because both of us are light skinned, we wear glasses. But you said now it really translates because both of us are light skinned, we wear glasses, and hey, both of our names is Tyrone. We look like two niggas about to play a game of Scrabble.
Hey, for real. Like one of my cousins.
You saying like I'm about to use expeditiously on the board for no reason at all. Use it.
Right.
Okay,
it's funny.
Like Another thing that I wanted to definitely ask you: where's somewhere that you played that you said like that right now is your favorite place to go because you said you feel the most at home, and where's some place that you feel like there might be a little more difficult, but you're up for the challenge?
Oh, perfect. B-side. B-side is my favorite place to go. That's like home, and it's a dope room because you get like a white crowd, a black crowd, and a hood crowd. You get like it's a good place to get a good read on your jokes. Like all the cultures are represented. And the one I want to go and conquer is Skeets.
Okay.
Skeets is my home neighborhood. I haven't done comedy there, but I know the crowd. You got to get them quick. It's almost a Def Jam, almost Apollo crowd. You got to get them early.
Right. Well, that's dope. You said like you've been rocking with Lex Vegas for a while, and once again we got to shout out the good brother Lex Vegas.
Yes, sir.
Every Thursday night on Red Line Radio LLC,
AKA.
You see, so like everybody that knows Lex is a pain in the ass. You said you love him. You said, but it's like he's not a pain in the ass. It's just he's attention to detail. It needs to go bam, 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 bam. Or you about to catch some. You don't see that many people being that way. You saying nowadays they're half-assing it and stuff like that. So when you deal with somebody that's about their business, that's you said A to Z all the way, no detouring and cutting corners. What's the difference in working with somebody like a Lex Vegas and somebody that's all over the place?
Oh man, it's just and shout out Lex, man. Look, he is a pain in the ass, but I will give him I like his consistency. He's the same pain in the ass to everybody. I appreciate that. Like he follows through. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. The main thing is I always say this. The professional is a dying profession. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? A motherfucker that just wants to show up and be good at their job and maximum effort. Like so, somebody like Lex, and Lex he's probably been promoting as long as I've been doing stand up, like less than 2 years. But goddamn professional. It was a time in my career where I made the most money ever with him, but just professional. And I don't know if he came out of his pocket. I don't know if it was off ticket sales, but he took care of me. He kept his word. His yes was yes, his no was no. He showed up on time. Like people don't appreciate that. Like besides, it's funny motherfuckers that's going down the Earl Manigault route. It's like, nigga, you were supposed to be great, but you had to be yourself. You couldn't be like, this job is customer service. Fuck what you're going through,
Right. You see, what's funny about that because, like you said, the current Lex Vegas show intro, right?
Yeah.
The intro before every intro that Lex Vegas has had for his show, I did that.
Okay.
And you said if you like the finished product, you have to understand this was probably 2 weeks worth of re-edits that I had using me and him going back and forth. And it don't bother me because I actually enjoy doing that. But just know. It was not a cakewalk. So you said when you said that he's that level of asshole to everybody, you're not lying, bro.
Yeah.
You said
it's a quality control issue.
Yeah. You said, like I said, the dick back skits, I did those. You said, so like I said, it's just, and that's why I don't mind because you said like I'll deal with certain people and they'll be like, I'm like, well, what do you want? And they'll go, well, I want this, and this, and I start sending them the same. I'm doing them like I do Lex, and I send them. You send the re-edit, so you change this, change that. They're like, well, I don't want to take too much of your time, dude. This is your product. You ask me, either you want it done your way. Or I'm just gonna throw any old shit out there. You know what I'm saying? Like this is your product. You said you're paying me to do something, so I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you what you want. So with that being said, you said just like. When you deal with somebody like Lex Vegas, once again, you said, and knowing that his yes is yes and his no is no, and he's strictly using the way he is, do you feel you saying like more pride in doing those events, whether as opposed to doing events with lazier people, I guess if you want to call it?
I wouldn't say pride. I feel more confident, more able to focus on what I'm there to do. Like we both got the same goal. Like, okay, agreed. We both trying to have a dope show tonight. Let's go. It ain't about nobody's ego or nothing. It's like it's the body of work. Mm-hmm. Like you get with somebody like that, it's like, okay, cool. I just got to show up and be funny. I know you got this. I don't got to check behind you or whatever. Make sure other shit's together.
Right. You said how I got introduced to you is you was doing the thing with Tacoma, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Tacoma, yeah.
Tacoma, yeah.
Tacoma, shout out to Tacoma
I'm
Maria.
trying to have her on as a guest, please. You said, Lord, I apologize for all the little pygmies down there in New Guinea. Amen.
Yes, my bad. Here I go.
So,
my bad.
How did you get started? And you said on that podcast.
Okay, so I was at this other podcast place, We Up Radio. Shout out Goldie Montana.
My God.
And it was a time where I became the production manager there. So I was I had my show, but I was producing maybe like 2 or 3 other shows. And a good friend of mine had brought her to me and told me she was interested in getting into the podcast world. And I vetted her. Like, she was good at talking, good communications, had original point of view, and didn't mind standing on it. So I'm like, boom. So I started off on her show being her co-host, and I was really filling in as the producer. I was like trying to find her a permanent co-host, and then I don't know, our chemistry was dope, so we just kept it going.
But it was like I sat in on a few of you guys' podcasts, and you saying yes, you guys, like no punches pulled. You saying, and you both had your point of view, and you saying the thing I liked is that you respected each other's point of view.
Yeah.
With that being said, it brings me to my next question, which is, we live in a world with, well, they think this way, so you should think this way, or they think that way, so you should think this way. How do you not get lost in the sauce and stand on your own too, instead of joining the crowd? Because I'm so tired of that word "they." You know what I'm saying? And most people don't even know what it means anymore. Because like if you look at, let's say, politics. I don't really like to talk politics, but we'll use it just for this use and exercise. It'll sit there and say 60% of Black Americans, like you said, cherry Pepsi. And I'll sit there and I'll look at a poll like that and I'll be like, didn't nobody ask me, so who the fuck is 60% of Americans? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So how do you separate yourself from that pack?
I don't know, man. I'm a nerd at heart. And I mean that, like, I study, I research, I look up, verify. Everybody's talking about what their truth is. And I was like, no, it's just the truth. It's facts. Can't argue with a fact, but I think that's part of the propaganda machine too, just to destroy the truth. Like nothing's matters, it's if nothing matters, then people will believe in anything.
And that's definitely true. You said, like, you brought up that you're a nerd, and you said, I like when people bring the word nerd to me, because I've been known as somewhat of a nerd or whatever in my day. And It's not classes because I fucking know a lot of shit. Just saying.
Right.
But, me and Lee, you said we have a lot of conversations about the Mandela effect. So I wanted to ask you, have you ever heard of this? And what's your take on that?
Yeah, I've heard of it. And I don't know. I think I've had some stuff. Like, definitely, I've spit songs a certain way. I'm like, no, they didn't say that. Like, everybody, I thought this was like common knowledge. Mm-hmm. And I go back and like, oh, it never happened. I made it up in my head.
Right. Just like I know the one of the huge ones still is mirror mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And of course now you look at it now, it's a magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest? It's like, no, that is not what it was.
Right.
Or like Lucy, you got some explaining to do. You said, in our mind, that's all we know, but you're telling me that was never said? It's like, so
I feel like the mirror on the wall is Slick Rick's fault. He just put that in our heads young and it's stuck.
That's true. And then I know another one they're arguing about right now was the guy in Tenement Square back in the 80s where the tank rolled over the guy.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen.
Really?
So, it's crazy. Just like, like I said, we talking nerd stuff. So it's that kind of stuff, But it's
yeah. But how does but I'm saying, like, it maybe. How do all these people have the same shared memory that never happened? It's like a glitch in the Matrix type shit.
Exactly. You said, now getting back to comedy, you said like I've asked this question of all the comedians, and I pulled it from Key Silly, and you said shout out to the good folks Key Silly.
Shout out Key Silly.
And
The game.
Because last time I saw her, it was right after she was the first time back on stage, right after her grandmother had passed. So I'd asked her, how do you hone in and get back to what the job you come to do, dealing with adversity? You was just like, so I'm gonna ask you, like, if you ever had, like, oh, let's say you found out you said your girl cheated on you or something like that, or you said one of your homies from back in the day you got to a car accident or whatever, God forbid. You know what I'm saying? How do you block that off and still go out there and give the people a good show? How are you? I mean, because I know your regular preparation, but how do you get on stage through adversity?
Like I say, it's the job, man. Like, this job is customer service. So it's like the customers don't give a fuck about, what you're going through in your life. You might be depressed or whatever, you broke up or your dog got shot. Mm-hmm. You're here to do a job. If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear. The crowd is here, the mic is on, and they want a show. So you go out there and you give it to them.
Right. And
you deal with your shit after. You got to keep yourself together. Like comedy, you know what I'm saying? We're practicing dealing with humiliation daily. You know what I mean? You're going up there to perform, and it might go well, it might not, but you're putting yourself out there. So your mental health is important to be able to do that, consistently and not take a drain. I mean, it's going to be a drain, definitely, but it's got to be a balance. You don't want to end up like Robin Williams. You're like, dang, this dude brought so much joy to people. How could he be so sad?
Mm-hmm.
Like how could he get to that point? But it's a balance. You got to keep yourself together.
Okay. Usually, so like, do you like? I know that's how you say you do it, but is it hard to do? Because you say like, or does it feel like you're just, I'm just gonna go ahead and spit these lines? Like, yes, I know the material's funny, but do you say, does, like, to you personally, does it feel forced, or do you say, does it, like, or are you able to really hone it in? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you got to go in there and perform. You stay in the same pocket. You play the same game. You still going out there to win, to destroy, to dominate, whatever you're there to do. You keep that going. And like, just for this hour, I'm here. I'm in the moment. I'm focused, and then everything else is everything else when I get done.
Right. Okay. Well, you said, well, like, when you just mentioned an hour, so you got a lot of these comedians that are doing hour-long specials. They're getting hour-long special after hour-long special after hour-long special. Do you think that's hurting the up-and-coming comedians? Because if all these big names are the only ones that are getting the hour-long specials on your Netflix, on your Primes, on your Hulus, and things, do you think that's a detriment to local talent that's coming up?
I would say no, actually, man. Like, as far as for a comedian like myself, like somebody who likes to study, this is awesome. You have such a vast body of work to look at on Netflix. If you want to just study comedy, you can go there and all day and find out what's going on. And I think Netflix has given a lot of opportunity, a lot of lesser known comics who've been great for like 10, 15, 20, 30 years are getting specials. Finally getting their show. Like Earthquake. Earthquake just got a Netflix special. He's been dope since like the 90s. So it's good to see him getting a platform to get his shine on.
Absolutely. You said it's like coming back to Key Silly, you said that wind's been kicking back up, and I'm trying to make sure no more trees fall down, brother. But so when I talked to Key Silly said she does not like watching other comedians. And I got her perspective, because it was like, you don't want to unintentionally, you saying, take a word or take a half a sentence, or you said it just, so how are you able to watch other comedians and not subconsciously, I guess use something, like, I guess maybe a tone of phrase in your set?
I don't know. Because I'm watching comedy now as a student. Like, it's not just off of what I enjoy. Like, the shit that you enjoy is gonna stick with you. Like, oh, I'm gonna tell my nigga this joke tomorrow at the job, But yeah, I'm just really studying like technique. And like, I think certain formats, it's okay to adopt. Like George Carlin was really good at making lists. So I have a joke where I list all the different type of hoes there are. You know what I mean? But it's more of an homage. I didn't steal. I definitely stole the idea, the technique, but it's my original joke.
Right.
So yeah, and I think it's okay for that some stuff. Like I think in some cases it's okay to take premises if you have your own punchline. Right. Like if you had your own "why did the chicken cross the road" joke but you had your own punchline at the end. Like, that's your joke.
Right. Well, when you got other comedians like a Cat Williams who said he doesn't, I guess, take shot, if you will. Taking class, I believe that's what it was.
Yeah, taking class.
How do you think it's a detriment? Because a lot of people, myself included, you notice I didn't say they. A lot of people, I'm just going off what I've seen down my use of social media, didn't think his last special landed all that well. Now, I'm a fan of Cat Williams. Don't get it twisted. Me personally, I don't think he's been funny. I had a full, complete special since I think it was the one where he came out to Rick Ross Hustler. And
yeah. We know he had the other one on Netflix, the Great America. He was a little fatter. He had the gold suit on. Yeah. But his last special was I think he was trying to transition into that OG mode, like where Dave Chappelle is. And if you remember when Dave Chappelle first came back, his first 2 or 3 specials wasn't all that. It took him 6 specials to get to where he was at the closer. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Cat knows what he's doing, and I think after you get to a certain level, you maybe don't have to take class. You evolve. You're different now. Right. Like Jay-Z started off with notebooks, but he got to a point where he just kept everything in his head. It's like you don't just show up like that. You evolve. Right. So certain cats like that, maybe you don't have to take class after you get to a certain level.
And that kind of ties me into because one of the things I champion on my platform is different perspectives, different opinions. And people, if they beat me up about my opinion all the time, bring it. It's like I've been talking with everybody. That Rihanna halftime performance. Love Rihanna. The hits were hitting. Don't get it twisted. But your artistic interpretation of sperm going to an egg to show us that you were pregnant when we noticed that you were pregnant when the lights came on didn't hit that well for me. I felt like I was in health class listening to Rihanna music.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, she's a billionaire. And she did. Art is subjective. You're allowed to have your own opinion. It's like, and I feel like opinions are being dismantled and swept under the rug. And you better have this opinion. You better think that way. You better do this. Whatever they say. It's like, so. How do we as a people get back to everybody can have their own opinion and that's just that?
Yeah, I don't know, man, because all these little groups, everybody is talking about they want equality, but they really want privilege. It's like, hey, I'm being brave. Just compliments, no criticisms, please. And it's to the point where they soften the world up for them, And as a Black person who still hasn't got equal rights, by the way, the world has never softened up for us. It was like, nigga, sink or swim. What you gonna do? And like, that's equality for me. I want everybody to get the same. Like, I think all the words should be allowed to be said, like all of them. And you deal with the consequences of saying what you said. Stand on it. But when you make everybody have to shut up and only say certain things, it's hard to tell who the stupid people are.
Right.
Let the stupid people identify themselves to us.
Exactly. You're saying the ignorance, that's why it's called the ignorance.
The ignorance.
It's like, okay, like, but with that being said, because like using the Republican Party, using one of the things they do is everything that we're trying to champion or trying to like, yo, we've been asking for this for years. You've seen like, just like you said, equality. They have literally stolen a phrase that we used to keep us as Black people in remembrance of where we came from. Now they're like, we used to say, stay woke, brother. You say, now they're turning into, they're using the word woke as, well, it's something we don't like, so we're just gonna call it woke. My problem is, okay, now you're taking a phrase and bastardizing it, and you're saying, oh, they're woke because they want to know about their Black history. So you're okay being asleep at the wheel. So like, how does that land towards you with what I just said?
I mean, I don't know. They always do that. I remember when the Republicans were mad about having to wear masks in certain places. They was like, well, George Floyd couldn't breathe, so no, I feel like I can't breathe either. Or they're always quick to throw up MLK. Like, this is not Martin Luther King's dream. We want equality. Like, they always, when it fits them, they always good to say shit like that. But we all know what it is. This is all the same tactics.
I'm definitely clipping that part because I was this close to spitting out my soda, dude.
And look, that's a real news clip. You can look at that when we get done. A white lady said that for real.
Wow, that is insane.
But they're quick to do that when it suits them, you know. I'm taking a stand like Rosa Parks did. Shut up.
What? It's like, and I always find that funny how people will sit there and literally use it, take our trauma, use it and then try to turn it around to fit their narrative. Use it because like I forgot the author, but the book is called Post-Traumatic Slave Theory or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, it also talks about using post-traumatic slave owner syndrome. And I think that you said, expounding on something you said a minute ago about it, you said them all compliments. You said, we're trying to get rid of that. So you said it makes us look good, makes us feel good and everything like that. So you said, like, do you think that it could possibly, they could be suffering from a post-traumatic slave master syndrome because they still have the privilege and they think when they're being called on it, they think they're being attacked?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like I think one of the side effects of white privilege is individualism. You know, like white people get to be individuals, and I don't think they see that a lot of their specials because they're white. They think it's them. Like I'm me. You know, and like you even see it like with crime. Like there's no one white person that can make all white people look bad. You know, like if a 15-year-old white kid shoots up a school, it's nobody's fault but his. You know, like not even the parents' fault. You know, sometimes they come out bad. You know, whatever. But if a 15-year-old black kid I don't know shoots another 15-year-old black kid that I don't know, it goes on my record. Like your people kill each other all the time. Like I don't know them niggas. Right. Why does that affect me? You know, but white people get to be individual, and I think because of that, they get to miss the privilege. It's like, no, I'm me. I'm special because I'm me, not because I'm white. Because I'm Cooper or whatever.
It's like one thing I always say to people there was like, well, why are you complaining about the cop shooting unarmed black people? He should have just complied. And how come y'all don't have that same energy for Chicago? Because y'all niggas don't do shit about that either. So shut up.
Yeah, and in Chicago, both niggas are dying. One nigga's dying, one nigga's going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's consequences on both ends. With the cops, it's not too much.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know if you've seen what's been circulating in the news here lately. I guess a correctional officer I think it was in Atlanta. She's on video sucking of the finger of an inmate, and then she's all butthurt because she got fired and stuff like that. And then of course they're also doing an investigation. Well, how did the prisoner get the phone in the first place? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and then of course you said the whole the Tennessee cop that you said that was getting gangbanged by half the department. You said now she's trying to sue the department because she said they groomed her.
No, she's just embarrassed.
And like the person that should be embarrassed is her husband.
He don't care.
Well, and his father's a pastor. He should care.
Man, that's what I'm saying, man. Weak men definitely mess it up for the rest of us. You know what I mean? Like she's like, no, I deserve to be married, and she's like, he's standing by her. This is my wife. She's for the streets. Let her go with that gang of niggas that she loves so much.
You for the streets? I'm talking about the 4-lane highway with the grass median. That's.
Oh my God! What the Germans got the Autobahn? You for the Autobahn? You get your ass on the Autobahn, bitch.
I'm for real. So it's like, when you start to write your material using and let's say you use the tragedy of a news story. You saying it's like because like I've listened to your jokes and your jokes are very intelligent. You said I'm definitely for that. You said it's like I guess you're probably going to equate it to you being a nerd and you studying and stuff like that. But I was going to say, how do you skip over the low-hanging fruit that other people would go to and be able to do your own thing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just find the funny. Like usually I want to make a good point and a good joke. You know, I try to have like a little message or something in there to teach also. But yeah, that's it. Usually it's trying to find the lesson. Like a lot of my jokes I'll write, I'll look at people I disagree with. Like I watch videos on Candace Owens or Ben Shapiro or, you know, anybody that I really would disagree with. And usually my rebuttal to what I hear them saying, I can find a joke in it. You know, like if I was there with them, like this is what I would say back, but I could usually find a joke in there someplace.
Right. We said, well, like to me with Candace Owens, the joke is because like, she spews so much anti-black racism, it's insane. But
Yeah.
the funny thing is because when she was in college, she needed to get the NAACP to help her out because white students were harassing her, but now she spits anti-black racism. That is.
Oh yeah. I think it's some niggas like that. Like Ben Shapiro, you give to him. Like he's from Detroit. And I think at some point he was like, I'm not hanging around these niggas no more, never again. I'm going to get me some white friends. Fuck these niggas.
Right.
And I think some people get like that, you know.
Right. You said like because we got clowns on the right and we both also got clowns on the left. And you said like to me they're equally funny, but like I said, just like to me, because unless you do your research and you know the background of a Candace Owens, you would go for the low-hanging fruit. Like I was saying, if you were trying to make a joke about Candace Owens instead of bringing up, you said holding the mirror to her face.
Right.
So it's like, what would you like? Let's say if like you were trying to turn somebody on to like a Candace Owens, and you were trying to explain it to them. It's like, okay, you said take off your trigger jacket. You said and just listen. How would you explain to so they can understand where you're coming from watching something like that?
Man, I would try to show some of her other points. Cause like real talk, if I'm being honest, when Candace Owens is not talking about black people, I agree with a lot of stuff that she's saying. A lot of our values line up the same way, just old school black conservative. It's just her critique of us is just like, oh, baby, that's misguided. You got to get you a black friend. And I don't think you're around the culture enough to make these accusations.
Right. That's one thing that's funny that you say, like they'll find these certain talking heads or whatever to basically label our entire group. You said as a monolith. We're all this way. We're all that way. It's like, what do you think the left should probably do better? Because to me, the left's biggest problem is phrasing, and because to me, Black Lives Matter, the sentiment you said it was great, and we're not going to get into what the organization did because that's irrelevant to what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
sentiment in general. And you said now if they would have said Black Lives Matter too, it probably would have. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I just think no group cares about us at all. You know what I mean? Like it sounds good. You know, we're a cool cause to get behind. We make dope music, but nobody really gives a fuck about us. And like you can even see with that group you just said, with their sentiment, they didn't give a fuck about us. When people get to a certain point, it's about them. You know, like even Candace Owens, like I think she does it for the bag. I think like because if she wasn't saying the crazy shit about niggas that she was saying, nobody would care. She wouldn't be where she was at if she was just talking good sense and regular stuff. So I don't even think she's as invested as as she argues. But I think it keeps her relevant, keeps her famous, keeps her paid.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. You said it's like, well, you said let's switch gears. You said we'll get back into the funny. Okay.
The funny, yes.
Right now, who are your top 5 comedians right now?
Dead or alive?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, first and foremost is my pastor, the Honorable Patrice O'Neal, at the top for me. George Carlin, Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, Richard Pryor.
Okay. You said that's an awesome list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once again, you said like we're also going with lists. But before I get to the list question, I did want to ask another question.
Sure.
Kevin Hart's supposed to be here in Ohio, I think May 18th, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But instead of performing at the arenas downtown in Cleveland, he's coming to the Football Hall of Fame in Canton. You know what I'm saying? So like I mean, we know. I mean, if you've driven by it, that place is huge.
Yeah.
So, like, to you as an entertainer, you said, like, especially because the Football Hall of Fame is an outside venue. You said, so, like, with everything that you've done, like, what would be the difference from, you said, like, doing, you said, like a big stadium in the bigger city to, like, doing, like, a major, I guess, landmark in a smaller city. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I haven't done anything that big yet, but
Well,
I think for me, I think after a certain number, it's just dope. Like a bigger audience is, I think for me, it's easier than a smaller audience.
Mhm.
Like I've done an audience of 3 people before, and it's tough. It's like, oh man, I hope they all get these jokes,
It's like, so let's say right now that Kevin Hart's people contacted you right now and said, yeah, that show we're doing in Canton, we want you to open up. What you said,
On there.
like, are your nerves gonna be like, or are you just gonna be like, no, this is my moment. Let's go.
No. I mean, I'm gonna say, no. This is my moment, but the nerves are always there. Like I appreciate the nerves. It's like pre-game jitters. Like the nerves make me take it serious. Like this is important. Bring it. So yeah, I don't think those nerves. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit more, but I don't think those nerves will be any different than any other nerves before I go on stage.
But like, we're gonna go back to the list question I was talking about. It's like, because everybody's still talking about that the 50 best rappers, and I guess Lil Wayne being out of the top 5. Me personally, I grew up in, this is where I grew up, ATL.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne's in my top 10. He's not in my top 5. You said, and
I can see that.
Because I just turned 40, so Lil Wayne, me and Lil Wayne are around the same age, but it's like, I guess I like using a different style. Like, to me, Wayne didn't get good until Carter 3. Yeah, he had dope punchlines and everything, but he did not get good until
the Carter 3. I would say right before the Carter 1, when he started doing those squad up mixtapes.
Oh no, those were dope. But
yeah,
his subject matter and his substance changed once the Carter 3 came, because once he went to college and expounded his vocabulary a little bit, became a better MC. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, and I get that.
And, like, I've been arguing with people online about to me, my number 1 right now is Andre 3000. Still.
Okay.
That's just me. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, he got a lot of tools in the bag. Very diversified rapper, man. Shucks, I hadn't even thought about my top 5, man. I think Jay's number 1 for me. It just seems undoubtedly. But I don't know who the rest will be. Probably X. X is in there for me, top 5. Who else? Jesus Christ. Eminem.
Okay.
Ludacris.
And he doesn't get enough. You saying
he don't be in the conversation enough, man. Ludacris is the Damon Wayans of rap. Y'all forgot about all the shit he done did.
Oh my God, that is.
Yeah.
You just said something there, brother. Because honestly, Damon Wayans to me is the funniest of that whole family.
Yeah, like I feel like Damon, if he would have kept with it on all, he could have did what Kevin Hart's doing. He could have been like the next Eddie Murphy type dude. I don't know. He just kind of slid off though. But he had the tools to do it though.
We know that Marlon's trying to hold the mess. Marlon's reactionary funny to me.
Yeah.
Not much on stage.
I think I appreciate his courage because he's got the bag. He has nothing to prove besides this is what he wants to do. So I respect it. I think me and Marlon probably been doing stand up the same amount of time.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It's like, but like I said, I have so much respect for people that are willing to get up on that stage, because like I said, a lot of those people that are in that audience or that are watching on their TV or their phone or their tablet or whatever, they have so much criticism, you say a person's craft, or you saying, oh, this wasn't funny, or this didn't hit well, this didn't hit well. Now I sat here, you said a minute ago, sit there saying Cat Williams didn't have a complete, full, funny special to me since X, Y, and Z, or this, that, and the third. But I used to rap, so I've been the one to get up on that stage. You know what I'm saying? So like, maybe not in the same capacity, but I've done it. So you just like, and like you said, we talked about the Rihanna thing, and I sat there, and it was like, oh, well, you're just hating on Rihanna. But I was like, whatever things about the Dr. Dre performance that I didn't like either. Me as a car guy, if I'd have been there at SoFi, I'd have came down the field and kicked every one of them assholes that was standing on the hood of them lowriders, because I'm a car guy.
Right. Respect the vehicle, respect it.
Use it. So you said, like, if you have a joke that's not hitting well, but you know that they're either drunk, they don't have the mental capacity to, to understand your intellect. You said, like, do you keep playing to that side of the room, or do you kind of focus on another side of the room and then maybe come back, or you just leave them alone altogether?
Yeah, no, usually in like drunk crowds, I got a couple of one-liners. I'll try to just do some short form jokes to see if I can get them to pay attention to even want to listen to some long form jokes. And then if they're being really unruly, I'll just do all dick jokes. Like, fuck it. If I'm gonna be uncomfortable, everybody's gonna be uncomfortable. Let's just rock this time out together.
Okay, this is like, are you old school? Like you said, with the when you write, you got the notebook, or you doing everything on your phone like the new generation?
Oh man, look, I am old school. I write everything down.
Nothing wrong with that, brother.
Yeah, and that's just me. I have to write it for me to remember it. You know, if I got shit out in text before and forgot about, but if I write it, it registers in my head.
Right. Well, you said, like, do you like ever get any negative feedback for like the reels that you put up on on your social media?
Oh, absolutely. And I was gonna say, to your point about low hanging fruit, I talk about a lot of controversial topics, so I gotta research it and figure out how to thread the needle and get away with it. Because I talk about trans, you can get in trouble as soon as you say something trans. I talk about gay, white people, women, heavy material on women and criticizing them, and you can't talk about women, but you can, if you do it tactfully.
Right.
So, yeah, but I try to, just find a way to get my point across.
It would expound on that because it was funny, because I don't know if you remembered, I had told you a joke, but it was actually part of my real life. You said when we saw each other at the Lex show, and I was just like, the kids coming home from school, just saying that, well, guess what? Everybody at the school's bisexual. I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't grow up with you niggas, because if I had to suck a dick to be cool, nigga, count me out.
Right. That's the standard now? Golly.
It's like, yo.
Yeah, but I'm just.
We had dope boys, we had jocks, we had the nerds. You said, y'all niggas just jumping off the deep end now.
Yeah, but we always had what was cool, but it was, everybody was allowed to be themselves, and it wasn't like we should be allowed to not like shit. Like, hey, I just don't like it. Like, I'm not any ist or any phobic or anything. I don't like it. It's just my thing, But as soon as you say you don't like something, it's almost like they treat it like it's bullying. Like if I tell you, like today, if I be like, hey, Ty, I don't like your hat. Like, oh, that's bullying. You're hat shaming. Like, no, I just don't like his hat. Like.
Right. It's like people come for me all the time because I'll do shit like that. They were like, well, such and such. You saying like Trick Daddy says he's part of the Eat a Booty gang. Oh, nigga, that nigga gay. That nigga quit kink shaming that nigga. Let that nigga live his life.
Right. Right.
Personally, I am not a part of the Eat a Booty gang, but hey, who am I to judge? Hey, do you?
Right. But look, when we was growing up, man, like, it wasn't cool for niggas to eat pussy. But we all knew cats who did it, and it was like, all right, you nasty, but that's my nigga, whatever.
Right. You then just make sure that girl was clean, because I'm still a little skeptical about passing you the blunt. We don't know.
Right. You play it like that.
You said your ass be out there in East Cleveland, so we don't know.
Right. Eating that pothole pussy.
Or you could be one of those people that like to go to Vegas and you out there eating prostitute pussy. It's like, whoa.
Oh, man. That's the worst kind to eat.
Yeah, man. It's all bad.
That's free range pussy.
Grass fed.
Right.
So it's like what like as a comedian, you saying you could be an opener, you in the middle or close. Where's your you said to where you feel most comfortable setting up hosting, opening, middle, or closing?
I mean, hosting is the easiest because you don't have to be the funniest guy in the room. You know what I mean? And you really just pop up. If somebody brings the show down, you pop in there, tell a joke, get the energy back up, you know, kick it to the next person. Or if the person just killed it, you just pop up. All right, we'll just keep it pushing. Get it sending on to the next person. So that's the easiest. But I think closing, I prefer closing just for like the time, and I get time to really get loose and, you know, get into my material. I don't got to speed through it. But yeah, but I'll go any place. I love when I go places and they'll put me up first. I'm like, are you sure? Because these niggas gonna have to earn it tonight. Because I am not. Ain't no opener set. It's the set is the set. The same heat every time.
Right. So okay, which brings me to my next question. It was like, because we're still in a time where people are, you seem like they're so stupid. You saying just it is what it is. Okay, I don't know. There was a YouTuber by the name of Queen Naja. And she came out with a song, and it actually did a huge number. I think it's like 25 million views in one day. And
Okay.
now she's on tour and using big things and everything like that. But people are discrediting her. Oh, well, you're just a YouTube singer, or you said like a DC Young Fly. Oh, well, you're just an internet comedian, or a country when you're an internet comedian, or T.I. Well, dude, you're a rapper. You can't get into comedy. It's like where do you sit when people start having that? To me, it's a stupid conversation, but where do you sit when it comes to a conversation of that magnitude?
And the same thing about being professional. You know, if you are talented, motivated, and professional, I'm rocking with you. I don't give a fuck. Let's go. Level 1 or level 1,000, wherever you at. Like, come on. You on the same shit I'm on. And like you see DC's taking the steps to even master it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to the stage and learning how to be an actual comic. He doesn't need to, but he just being a purist, a master of his craft. I respect the fuck out of that. You know, and I kind of think T.I.'s doing the same thing. I haven't been keeping up with his comedy career as much, but I saw him on that show Roast Me. You ever see that where the guys be in the classroom?
Yeah.
And he went there and look, he did not do good, but he went there and took his roast like a champ. Like I respect that, you know? You don't got to do that. You T.I. But if you're going to be a comedian, you got to go and be able to take them shots like you're giving them.
Right. I mean, absolutely. So, like, would you be able to? You said like step in that arena.
Roasting?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, I've done some roast, man, and in the hoodest of spots, niggas be looking at me like, hey man, Urkel got hurt. Like, man, fuck you, I'm a whole comedian, nigga. Like, but yeah, but I mean, it's just really about. I want to master all the, like it's kung fu. I want to master all the styles, nigga. I want the tiger, the crane, the bear, all that. So if roasting's a part of it, I need to master it too.
Right. You just like when you're getting in there, it's like when let's say you're doing a roast. Do you freestyle it or do you write it?
Freestyle. I mean, I'm probably gonna be sizing up my opponent before the match. You know, just seeing like, all right, what he got on. You know, what's his hairline looking like? What's his size like? And, you know, just see what I could piece together. And then, you know, you just fire in the moment. But shit, the roast I did was, we had, me and this one dude, it was 3 rounds, 3 minutes each. 10 minutes is a long time to talk about one person. You know what I mean? Like by the end there, I'm like, nigga, that's why you don't even exfoliate, nigga. You know, I'm just trying to just pull in whatever I can out the bag, trying to keep it going.
It's like, I'm gonna get to the last question before we get out of here because we're almost at an hour already. My guy, you seems like went.
It was a great show. Hey, look, shout out to you, Ty, before we go, man. I was gonna say, man, you are sneaky awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like you just come off super cool and unassuming. Like, oh yeah, that nigga's a rocket scientist. Like what? Nigga, this whole time, like.
Well, I appreciate it. I try to do my thing and I try to make sure that I show respect to everybody and I don't try to put you in a precarious situation that may have you saying later on down the line maybe looking stupid because I said this answer or something that you can't stand. I want you to be you. I want you to get your opinion off, and I don't want you something that you said or something that I said to be contradicted later on. You say so like that's the reason why I do not write my questions down. I conduct myself in a freestyle platform so we can just have a regular conversation. You know what I'm saying? So,
absolutely.
You know, so I definitely have to give you your flowers for you running through this journey with me, my brother. Wakanda forever. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes, sir.
everybody's talking about this whole Chris Rock thing. Have you watched it? I have not. Of course, I've seen the little clips and everything.
Yes.
I think the clips, you know what I'm saying, well, they were pretty all right. You know what I'm saying? But to me, once again, Chris Rock is a comedian who's not funny to me. But that's just me.
Chris Rock, Chris Rock is funny. He's just older now. But his old school, bigger, blacker, you know what I'm saying? Bring the Pain, Chris Rock, he was hilarious. But yeah, I liked what he did, you know, and I wish he would have did more. I think he maybe did 3 minutes on the whole situation, you know, but yeah, I liked it. And he's catching all this flack, which I think is some bullshit. And like he's disrespecting black women. I'm like, man, if Will Smith slapped me on stage, I'm talking about him, Jada, Uncle Phil, and Aunt Viv, everybody's getting it, nigga. I'm talking about everybody.
Right. Well, you said tying into that. What you said before we get up out of here, it's like they're on Samoa's ass for I guess misgendering Zaya Wade. I don't think that's right either. So where does that sit with you?
Same thing, man. Like freedom of speech is freedom of speech. You should be able to say whatever. You know, I don't think it was being malicious, but once you decide to be in the public eye, your ass is up for grabs. Anybody could talk about you, man. Saturday Night Live, comedians in living color, you know, this is what comedy is. You know, I can see you, so I'm going to talk about you. That's it.
Right. Okay. I just thought of another question, so this was going to be the last question. It was like, do you think In Living Color could survive in this climate?
Oh man, I feel like they would water it down so bad. They wouldn't let it be what it was, I don't think. Yeah, nah, a lot of the old stuff from the 90s cannot survive now. And it should be able to.
Because like I said, we as people should be able to do exactly what I do here on this platform, come together, have the conversation. You said, because everybody's listening to respond instead of listening to understand. And I think that's what the detriment of everybody using as a unit using these days. You know what I mean? So you said make sure that you give everybody your socials, how they can get in contact with you, and what maybe upcoming events you have.
Okay, yeah. So Facebook, I'm Tyrone Gaines. It's right there at the bottom of the screen right there. And on Instagram, I am Tyrone the Comic. Hit me up. I got funny ass clips and a list of all the shows I'm going to. I think the next show I'm at is in Ravenna on April 1st. It's the Ravenna show. I'm going to post it on my page. So go to the pages I told y'all to go to, and you're going to see the post posted to go to the show.
Yeah. Well, listen, without further ado, thank you, my brother, for being here. You've been an awesome guest.
Thank you, Dub. Thanks for having me, man.
Anytime we're gonna have to do this again, brother. You said like I probably have to. You said get all of my comedian friends and get together. Just we could just have a TED talk to where we can throw jokes out. We can sit there and I mean that's something I want to put together going down in the future. You know what I mean?
I'm down, man. I like it.
You saying? Well, without further ado, this has been my man, comedian Tyrone. You saying? Y'all stay safe. God bless and hold it in the road. Peace.
Peace.
This is really gross, but dirty trash cans can pose a serious health risk to you and your family. The pungent smell can attract rats and flies, not to mention maggots, both of which can contain dangerous diseases transferable to humans. Your dirty trash can is susceptible to harboring dangerous bacteria. Contact Brandon at Fitz Trash Bin Cleaning today at 440-752-1533 or find them on Facebook. Veteran owned and operated and eco-friendly. Again, call Brandon at 440-752-1533.
The boy Dub Deuce in the building.
What up? It is that guy Dub, and I am back with another video. How you guys doing? At the end of the day, shout it, I'm Good Money. And today, we've got a special guest in the building. You saying he's back going viral because everybody in the streets is worried about what's going on in this Freaknik documentary from the world's most controversial crew, 2 Live crew. Brother Marquise, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm fine. How's everybody else doing? It's good to be here, man. We finally hooked up and could do this interview.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's good. It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
So you said, how's things going on in your life right now?
Oh man, things are beautiful. I can't complain. I'm living. I'm living. You know, it's good to be seen and heard and not viewed. You know.
I know that's right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna start off. We're gonna start off. You said get the cat out of the bag, right? You said, but everybody talking about this Freaknik documentary, and there's a lot of people that are trying to stop it from coming out, and with you being a part of a group that was basically the soundtrack for Freaknik, how worried do some of these people need to be?
I have no idea. This is the first time that I'm being aware of a Freaknik documentary. Nobody has called me to talk about it.
Really?
So I guess they'll probably have Uncle Luke and people like that, you know.
Well, you said you're just as important. You saying? So
yeah. I'm just as important, but you know how it goes.
No, of course, it's politics.
Record industry with black folks. You know, Uncle Luke probably won all of the shine, so you know, probably think it's not enough room under the spotlight for me to, you know, to be on something with him like that. Unfortunately, it's just one of those kind of situations. But I'm cool. Me and you talking about it, so
absolutely,
that's right.
It's like, okay. I always wanted to ask this question because my father went. My father used to be down there all the time selling T-shirts and stuff like that. You said, like, if y'all had camera phones back then, you said, like, how many? What's some of the things that we not gonna see that we missed on VHS tape that we would have seen on camera phones?
Oh man, y'all would have seen a lot of things. You know, after Freaknik. You know, doing Freaknik and after Freaknik, and after everybody go home and all of that, you might have to slide in one of them clinics and get you an evaluation. that's how raw and crazy it was.
You say like I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. I was watching a documentary. Well, it wasn't even a documentary. It was a news report from like back in the 90s from like Channel 2 when Monica Kaufman, you said she had the little fro in the front, right? But you said it was just talking about how crazy it was. But you just like, so like when you guys would go to perform and hit stages, what was the energy like? You saying like, because I see the energy with the newer generation. You said, so like I definitely want to ask, what was the energy like back then? We said when everything was at its peak.
Man, when we did Freaknik, man. I lived in Atlanta at that time, so I enjoyed Freaknik during the day. And I had concerts on both of those nights, Friday and Saturday. So it was like awesome. You know, everybody would, you know, it's like, man, they would go hard. They would know every word and the girls would get up and dance. And, you know, of course, they didn't hardly have any clothes on. And it was just that Freaknik vibe. It was just real sexual. It was just loose. It was summertime. And it was just all about a party. And girls was in the South. They was representing the South and wherever they was from. Mm-hmm. So they did there in the daytime, and the venues that we performed at in the Freaknik were like super, super packed. So I had a great time on both of the Freakniks. I had an awesome time. That's like a highlight of my life and my career because the music was popping at that time, and I was just out, you know, with people, and I was just out in the city on the scene, riding around in my convertible, and girls jumping in and jumping out. And man, I had a ball. They need to bring that back.
They definitely do. But it's like, do you think in the era of cancel culture, do you think that it would survive the way it used to be?
Nah, it ain't gonna never be the way it used to be because they would actually block off the streets. You know, they'll shut it down now because there were so many people that they had Atlanta on gridlock. They couldn't move. You know what I mean? Oh, so yeah. If it can be a more of a smaller, intimate, and contained environment, it would probably it'll probably come off. But as far as taking over the whole city, I don't think it'll never be another time like that.
I don't think so either.
No, they ain't gonna let them take over the city like that no more.
Oh no. It's like it's funny because you said I was having this conversation with a friend of mine and we were talking about how like about this documentary, and they were talking about how many of the women that are like, oh my God, you said Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, you said, oh my God, that is trash, but we're out there in them Freaknik streets doing that and then some, but now have so much to say. You know, so it's like, so in your opinion, it's like, how do you feel about the hypocrisy when it comes to certain people, when it comes to generations of music?
Well, everybody is going to have their own little say so about genre of music. So now that I'm glad that rap music has gotten so big that we can have genres of music inside the genre. You know what I mean? So you got down south rap, and then you got New York rap, then you got sexual rap, and then you have like what I call what they call the drill music, which is like gang bang rap and a rap with a lot of criminality into it. Criminality. And people are going to have a whole bunch to say about it. And it all depends on what type of genre of music that they're in. Everybody want to think that there's so much of the kings and the queens of what they do. So you have to be kind of people are sensitive out there now. So you have to be kind of mindful of what you say, because like some of these rappers with this little money right now, you say a certain thing, they want to go off on you. But I am glad that rap has made it this far to where we can have 5 genres within the hip hop genre itself.
Right. You said, me being a student and a fan of hip hop, you said, like, when you spoke on the drill music. To me, it's like my issue with drill music is because it's breaking down the conversation, but people are still not getting it, because in a lot of these drill songs, people are self-snitching.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think it's because people don't understand there's a difference between self-snitching and calling for help.
Right.
Now you say, if you saying me and Ray, it was 5 o'clock on the dot and we robbed the spot, and you put it on record, they can use that because you just told on yourself.
That's right. That's right.
But if somebody breaks in your home and you let 5 of them off and they're behind or whatever, and then you call law enforcement to come handle it, that's not snitching. Or somebody steals your car.
Yeah, that's not snitching. That is one of your civil rights, one of your First Amendment rights to protect yourself in your home. Especially if you're in a state that's a gun carrying state. That's self-defense. Can't nobody break in on your property and do anything to you harmful like that without you defending yourself. But yeah, these cats are dry snitching on themselves. And the prosecutors and the DA and all of the alphabets are using that against them. They're building cases off of verses that come out of songs.
Yeah, and see, that's why it's crazy what you saying with the whole YSL thing. And of course, I don't really want to talk about that because that's not important to what we're talking about. But just expounding on what we were just talking about. But said it's like, because hip hop has come so far. Because like I had a conversation with a buddy of mine who's a pioneer DJ from New York named DJ Easy B. And he was talking about
Easy B.
You know Easy B?
Easy B and Easy Lee.
Oh,
yeah, I know Easy B. Yeah. I know I know all of the first generation of rap guys from New York. Definitely.
Oh yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
But we were talking about just like at one point in time, you saying hip hop, we were allowed on the corner of the stage. You said, and now we got arenas and and things like that. Now we're the most copied culture in the world.
That's right.
So being a veteran in this hip hop game, how does it feel to literally have lived through all of that and to where we are now in hip hop?
It's a blessing. It's a blessing, and I'm grateful to still be here celebrating 50 years of hip hop with all of my counterparts and my colleagues. It is beautiful, man. It's a blessing, and I'm mindful of it every day. That it is an honor. It is an honor, man, and it does me. It makes me feel good. It's worthwhile. It's self-fulfilling. It's self-fulfilling to be a part of that. To be a part of rap culture and to really be embedded in it real deeply, because I went to the Supreme Court and won the ruling on censorship for the First Amendment rights, and I had the explicit lyric sticker. So I really did a lot for the culture,
right?
As far as people expressing themselves artistically with their choice of words and their choice of material.
But see, like that in within itself is also funny, because because we do have our First Amendment rights and things like that. Because certain people, just like there was a teacher, I can't remember where she was from, but she was basically I think they were Huckleberry Finn. They were reading the book and then something like that. And she kept calling the student the N word. And she was like, well, that's my First Amendment right to use, and I can say what I want to say. And I was like, now you can say what you want to say. Now, if you get hit in the mouth after you say what you say, now that's something totally different because because there's all different areas that you can go with your First Amendment rights. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can call me the N word, but like I said, if I knock your teeth out, you're saying, hey, consequences. You know what I'm saying? But you said when you guys won at the Supreme Court, you said, like, what was that feeling?
It was great. It was great. It felt like I went up against the whole system and the establishment and stood up and won with my civil rights as being the black man. And it was the first time that the Constitution was actually used to protect a black man. The First Amendment protected us, because if you still look back in the Constitution, it still says in there that we are still 3/5 of a human. You know what I'm saying? So some people look at that, they're only 3/5 of a human, so their lives don't mean anything. You know what I mean? So for us to actually go and win and stand up and go against the establishment and have the First Amendment really stand up behind us and really let the whole world know that we are protected by our civil rights, that was big. That was big. Yeah, that was big.
You said, well, with that being said, how much of are you still an activist for your First Amendment rights? Would you teach the youth you said to understand their rights as citizens?
If that opportunity came up, yes, definitely. I definitely will expound on that, and I definitely will share some of my knowledge on it.
You just like when we spoke briefly about you said things we wanted to talk about. It was about the you said with kids. You said because we're in a different time now. We have we're right now. You and I we're on social media right now.
Exactly.
You said so like. As somebody that you said has fought and has went through all different avenues, you said before internet, during internet, and everything, like how do you what would you tell children that are trying to get into this social media space that are possibly not ready for it?
What would I tell the kids?
Yes.
I would tell the kids today that they need to do their history, that they need to go back and especially the kids that are into music and hip hop, into the culture, that they need to go back and study the culture, study the pioneers, study some of the guys that came along and were groundbreaking in what they were doing in their music, in their artistic form and creativity, and study that to know about it, expound on it, so that you can be well-rounded on what you're going to be coming up against.
Right.
Exactly.
So where does this newer generation of music sit with you? You said because you saying like the whole 90s bass movement was a for real movement. You said like it was fun, it was party. It's like, so where does music sit with you now?
Well, there's a lot of criminality into the music right now. It's a lot of gang culture in the certain genres of the music that's in hip hop. A lot of sexuality. I think it needs to go back to its rarest form, to its purity, to the state of us really enjoying ourselves and being kind of more creative. Even though I know it's a culture shift and everybody goes one way when it's moving one way, but I still think it's artists that's doing it, but I still think we need more positive songs. You got an album with some of these ratchet songs. There's some positive songs that's on your album too, that's uplifting and edifying, that'll kind of help build up the community.
Absolutely. You said that, to me personally, that's why you said in today's era of music, that's why you said J. Cole and a Kendrick Lamar are in my playlist for those exact reasons. You know what I'm saying?
And those are some of my favorite artists as well. I love J. Cole. I love Kendrick Lamar. Now, on the West Coast, I'm seeing that on the West Coast, they really stick to the West Coast sticks to they sticks to where it came from them. I like that about them. They don't try to change up, sound like anybody else, to where the South, if I'm in the South and I try to come out probably with one of my records, they want me to try to sound like these young guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
and I really want to. I'm grown right now, so I'm grown and sexy. I want to be grown. I want to say something that's it ain't really all about that. But it seems like for some reason the Southern culture don't want to hear that.
Right.
If you ain't sounding like somebody from Atlanta, you ain't winning.
I mean, unfortunately, and that's, I think, because so many people, you saying, during the Freaknik era and even after, once you saying Atlanta started booming, so many people came there. It's such a melting pot. It's rare that you will meet somebody, you saying, inside of 285 that's been there their whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, now.
Yeah.
But when you get somebody homegrown from Atlanta, you will know it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's like Atlanta's even welcomed other people that are from other places, like a Ludacris. He's from Chicago, but he definitely represented for Atlanta very well. So I definitely got to. It's like definitely got to give it up. And then what you being in Atlanta, you saying like you're still holding down the culture. It's like, and the fact that my brother. It's like, because my brother's out in the streets, me, you outside. So like y'all are still, involved with the people. So what is the reception that you get from people just being out in the streets to this day?
Well, people that came up with me, in their 40s or 50s, it's nothing but love. It's nothing but love, in our age group that came up, the first generation of rap kids or whatever. It's beautiful, man. It's a lot of love. I receive a lot of love, man, and people show me appreciation, and I try to give it back to them. And that, that keeps me going. I feel like that was my civic duty. This is my civic duty. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. When somebody comes up to me, be like, man, I grew up on you, and I got my behind whooped trying to sneak and listen to your tape in the basement and all of that. I'm like, yeah. It feels good.
Yeah, it's like me coming up. I was like I wanted to go. My dad was like, nah, this ain't for you, youngster. So it was like, but it was like I was always fascinated with it. You said just like, let's take out whatever potential bad stuff allegedly happened or didn't happen. You said just the culmination of Black people coming together, and like, of course, it don't matter because, like, hey, when a sports team wins, you see a bunch of white people flipping over cars and setting buildings on fire because their team won. So like we take away from that, but we talk about just the fun, the people coming together, like the job fairs. Like all of that stuff like this. It's like we don't have that in hip hop anymore. And I like you were saying earlier. I wish like the togetherness would come back. You know what I mean?
No, well, hip hop, hip hop is a community sometimes that doesn't give back to the real founders. It can be real selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop can be a selfish genre of music to where I'm gonna get on, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna put my foot on everybody else's neck because that's what they're doing.
But see, that's the crazy thing, because like now like I said, we're in the age of social media. Everything can be monetized now, so there's enough money out here for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like, you said just like with you said speaking to me, you saying you're blessing me, you saying with your presence, and I'm doing the same for you. We're sitting there, we're helping each other. I don't got to leave today and be like, you know what, I'm not messing with him no more. Or you said, because you ain't done nothing to me. If we could try to get some money together, let's get some money together, because like I said, there's enough for everybody out here to eat. And
well, unfortunately, a lot of us don't feel that way, and it's only the nature of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel as though in hip hop sometimes the guy that doesn't have the most creative ability, is going to do the most stealing. So it's just like the streets now. Yeah. It's just like the streets now, and even worse.
I mean, unfortunately, that's true, because they brought the streets into it. More into it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what that's right.
Because at one point in time, like you think in the 90s when they were speaking about saying violent lyrics and stuff like that, storytelling
is gone.
You said nobody's really telling stories anymore. You saying like I missed that. You saying just like I said, just there's not a whole lot of music. You said like not right now. Like they're just gonna sit there and want me to pull out the box Chevy with the 212s in the back and go. You saying beating down Ponce de Leon. You know what I'm saying? It's just not.
Now the music right now make you want to go to your safe, count your money, make you want to go stand on the corner, sell something, or go to your trunk and pull your gun.
Right. So you were talking about earlier that people were trying to get you back in the studio to make some booty music. Is that still fun for you?
Yeah, the studio is always fun when I get myself back in rap shape and back in rap mode. Yeah. So I'm in the process right now of putting some things together, and I think I might stay in it for a while, even if the records don't do anything, because everybody ain't gonna like you. We getting older, and hip hop, unfortunately, is one of those genres to where they don't reach back and pull the older guys up.
Right. Well, that's why I make it a point with my platform. Because even though I'm a small finisher in this pond, if I can sit there and boost up with at least by sharing or or something, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but that's just me, and I try to surround myself with people who will do the same. So you have pockets of fan bases out here that are still willing to give you your flowers and propel you upwards. You know what I'm saying? Because we believe in you.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of people that are in hip hop and of the genre that thinks exactly like we do about it. And so a lot of people, and especially I'm glad it's 50 years of hip hop right now, because it's going to give people the opportunity to say, well, wow, let's reach back. Let's bring some of them back. Let's have some events. You know what I'm saying? Let's honor these guys that started it first. You know what I'm saying? And mix it all up together. So it's coming around. It's coming around.
It definitely is. And I think because we do have a lot more people that are stepping away from the young, because we just letting the young people be the young people. But I think especially after DJ Academics had said what he said about old and dusty pioneers, they ain't got no money, even though he, I guess, tried to clarify and say he was only talking about one person or whatever. Right. But when LL Cool J came, I was like, no. You're not going to talk about the OGs like that, and you put Academics in his place. I've really seen the OGs sticking to coming more together and doing more together, to counteract the BS and the nonsense that the young idiots are doing. You know what I mean?
That's right. And L is a good guy, great guy. I had a chance to meet him, and I did see that too. And I was like, yeah. I clicked on and I hit that, and I was like, yeah, we supporting you.
Right.
Yep.
So you said nowadays it's funny. You just because like I said, we talked earlier about people that might have something to say against Cardi B or Meg Thee Stallion and stuff like that. Because to me, all it's really doing is championing you guys' movement forward. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So if you of course you're gonna have certain people that are gonna talk smack, but how do you feel about when something that you guys came up with is still being championed to this day?
It's going to always be championed because you got certain people that, right wing, left wing, or grown or old, or coming from whatever background that they come from, they still might find it kind of offensive and disrespectful. Right. So that is the American way. You can feel like you want to feel, you can protest about it, and you can say what you want to say about it. So that's never going to go away. The only thing that's to our advantage is that the artist is never going to go away. The more you talk about Megan Thee Stallion, the less clothes she going to put on.
I know that. Me? Right.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
It definitely. It was one thing I definitely wanted to ask you. It was because there was a scene in the movie Straight Outta Compton when they were pulling up to the venue and the people got the steamrolling, they're rolling over the tapes and setting fires and stuff like that. And then Eazy-E goes, "Hey, they can do what they want. They bought them motherfuckers." Is that kind of how y'all felt when people were protesting and you saying they felt a way about y'all's music?
Of course. In some instances, keep talking about us, keep feeding into the controversy, and we're going to keep selling records, and we're going to keep getting more notoriety off of you hassling us. So it works out perfectly. The more you keep talking about us and trying to hassle us, it's more of a financial game with the exposure for us.
Absolutely. And you said it's because I used to be an artist myself. I don't do it anymore. I just hit 40. And I'm not saying that I can't if I wanted to, but I don't. That's not my thing anymore. But and you said next time you see Boogie, have him play you some of my music. But whatever. But it's like when you guys would get ready to go into the studio, like you said, I don't know what you saying your ritual was before you guys would sit there and record, like, and you were telling these stories about, like you said, when you partying or did, like what was your writing process going into the studio like back in those days?
Well, after those first records hit, my whole outlook about it is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to say the most shocking thing. I'm gonna try to say the most craziest, most degradingest thing that I can say to really upset the establishment a little bit more. And that was as far as the political people, the local political people, and really, just try to use the shock value for my advantage. So it was just anything wild and super silly and kind of comical. Yeah, let's try it.
Right. So you said like you guys like have. I think you guys set the standard when it came to strip club music. Because, and you say you find a lot of artists trying to break their records, especially using bass heavy records in like the strip clubs.
Right.
You said like, do you feel that you guys are getting your flowers for planting that flag?
No, not really. No, not really. Again, I told you that this culture of hip hop is a very selfish culture. They will take from us, but will not give us the credit and the notoriety of where they got it from. But it's there. Like right now, all of the girls are using my type of music. Sweetie, Cardi B, a little bit, Nicki Minaj, especially with the City Girls. They're taking our sound and really exploiting it even more.
Right.
And I guess it kind of fits a girl. It kind of fits a girl. You know what I mean? So the women are keeping it going.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
they ain't giving nothing back. You know that they ain't making no mention of where they got it from or what. You know what I'm saying? These new kids don't care.
Right.
They don't care nothing about it. I do like the City Girls because they're from Miami, so they do try to keep that original sound going, which is cool.
Right. I mean, the home team usually pays the most homage.
That's right. That's right.
So I mean, it's like, okay, you said like coming up and around Miami and stuff. Like, what was Miami like back in the '90s? And it's like, is it because everybody said, oh, it's still the place to go now? Is it still the place to go as far as you know it, or was it way better back in the day?
It was kind of way better back then because nowadays, even though it was a lot of tourism going on then, but now it's a lot of us coming there. So it's turning South Beach into like a real ghetto. You feel me? Yeah, South Beach is like, you have to really, really be careful over there right now because you have people coming in from all over the country.
Right.
So they come down there with their local mess, and it just South Beach is just chaotic right now. Miami is cool, but as far as the beach and all of that, they kind of give the city a bad name.
Right.
They kind of give the city a bad name. The out of towners.
Right. Well, see, like one thing I was seeing, they still do a lot of tours. Like with the Smokey Robinson's on tour right now. You said like Genuine's coming back, and he's on tour, and you said it just. So like, how fun is it to when you guys will be a part of these tours? Like even you said now, is it you still getting? You saying like, is it still live? Are y'all still just as amped backstage?
Oh man, well, it's a little bit different, but the energy on stage is more better right now because we're singing these nostalgic songs, and people are really getting into them. So right. I like it better now. I like it. I actually like it better now. Tell you the truth.
Right. Well, you mentioned 50 years in hip hop. Like when you were a teenager, did you imagine hip hop have gone this far? Because they've tried for years and years and years to get rid of hip hop.
No, I didn't. I don't think a lot of guys knew that it would get this far and become actually a global sound, a corporate sound. You know what I'm saying? Things for advertisement. You can't go nowhere right now. You can't even turn on TV without hearing nothing that's related to hip hop.
Right.
Yeah.
So like when you mentioned Sweetie and we mentioned Cardi B earlier, you said both Sweetie and Cardi B and Offset have had McDonald's items. You said,
oh yeah,
you said depicted after them. Like, how does, as a hip hop fan and as a historian, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like we didn't took over the American culture, especially. Yep, they tried to stop it. They didn't think rock and roll was going to be as big as it became. But now hip hop is the new rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're here. And once we get in, we dominate things.
Of course.
Yeah. So
it's like,
so it's no surprise that none of us.
Right. You said, like, we talking about coming in and dominating. You said, like, one person that always gets a lot of flack is LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to an interview with Candace Owens. She was sitting there talking about, because he wants to come off saying that us as black people are being hunted, which we are. You said us as black people, you said we're being ostracized by the police and being abused by the police, which we are. But because LeBron James has money, he shouldn't speak on that kind of stuff, which I think is stupid, because once you get to a certain stature or status, like going back to what we said, reaching back to help our brothers. You said, like, if something's going on in our neighborhood, yeah, we might not live in that neighborhood no more, but it's on us because if we want real change and now we have a bigger voice or a bigger platform to say something about it, I think it's the perfect thing to do. But then you got, like I said, Candace Owens, people saying basically a shut up and dribble. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not that familiar with Candace Owens, but you have to look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He stood up for civil rights. I think it was Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. All of those guys stood up for civil rights back then. LeBron James, I like him because he stands up and he speaks out for his people, regardless of how much money he has. If it's something that's going on out there socially and, people are dehumanizing black people, he uses his platform to speak on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he doesn't care. And he doesn't care who don't like it, the league or nobody. He does not care.
It's funny because you see people like, well, LeBron James, he's just a kid from Akron and blah, 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 or he's this, or he shouldn't speak on social issues, or he shouldn't care about where he came from. LeBron James owns half of Akron. Like
LeBron James is a world-renowned figure. That's major. So and major in our culture. So if he says anything in our culture that is pertaining to the betterment of his people and our people, everybody gonna listen and they're gonna fall suit with him.
Right.
They're gonna fall right in line with him.
You're absolutely right. Now we're gonna switch gears a little bit, because like I said, that New York hat, I cannot not talk about New York.
Right.
You said because once again when I was talking to Easy B, we brought up documentaries or TV series for the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen The Get Down on Netflix?
Yes, I have.
Tell me that wasn't the most accurate depiction of hip hop.
I love to Get Down. I love to Get Down, and Will Smith's son did he did a heck of a job in there. That was nice. That was nice. I watched that whole series.
I think I've watched about 3 times. I enjoyed it
that whole series. That was dope. That was dope. Now they need to come out with something similar to it that's more up to date into what's going on now, and which I think that will happen. Because now we have to have series like that that are based in the early 2000s. I think that would be dope. In the 90s, the middle 90s, and the early 2000s, I think that would really be dope.
Right, because you said like with me personally, because I really hit my music peak like right around the 2000s. Like I said, I'm an 80s baby. Now, of course, I listen to music, but like once I got my own car and I was able to move around on my own, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it was back like when DJ Jelly and the Big Oomp Camp and Jermaine Dupri used all these everything that came out, everything was real bass heavy when T.I. first came out. You know what I'm saying? Just like he's like that was my because like I said, I would hear my parents listen to music and stuff like that, or I'd listen to stuff with my friends. But then because it's a different feeling, like when you're in your car and it's just you got your music, so you really get to feel the music. Because for a long time, I was just strictly using Jay-Z, Memphis Bleak, Beanie Siegel. You said any Ja Rule, it had to be New York music. I was born in California, grew up in Georgia, but wouldn't listen to nothing but New York music. I don't know why, but that's just what it was.
Wait, that's where it came from. I'm on the same thing. I'm on the same thing, to tell you the truth. I'm on the same thing. That's where it came from, and that's that's the roots of it. New York started it. New York started it.
And it was funny because, like I said, as a teenager, we'd go to these little teen parties. They'd have them at the National Armory Guard in Marietta, or you seen like little teen clubs and stuff like that. And it was funny because like that's when like fight music would come out. Like I don't know if you remember Baby D. And you said the bit from Oak Camp, but you said like East Side versus West Side.
Yeah, tear the club up.
Man, and it's like I love that song so much. And you said, you said, Lil Jon, put your hood up. It's like I love this song so much, but it's about to be one. You know what I'm saying? It's to me like
you can't do that now. You can't do that now. You can't go to playing them songs. They really gonna they gonna get with the guns. Mm-hmm. Them young kids gonna get the guns now. You know what I'm saying? Talking about all that.
You said, well, the reason I brought that up was to say this, like, these and like security and police were on standby because if they knew those songs were going to get played.
Right.
You said, was that history repeating itself when it came to you guys hitting the stage?
Yeah and no. I guess the security had to protect the venue, but you got to think though we wasn't really that violent. We was more on the sexual tip. So
right.
We just was hoping that it wouldn't be an underage girl trying to come up there and take her clothes off while we singing.
Right.
That's what we had to worry about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It
wasn't like nobody finna go home and go outside and shoot nobody. Everybody trying to grab a girl and go home and get booed up after one of our concerts.
Right.
Or go to the strip club or something.
Yeah. It's either like what I was talking about was like like I said, the security, because you said when the fight music would come, they'd be on high alert, but you said when the media and politicians and stuff was on y'all's asses like back pockets.
Right.
It's like was the security and the police, was it kind of like the same? Like, no, I'm not talking about, like I said, as far as you know what I'm saying, like worrying about somebody gonna fight, but worrying about you saying something that they don't want you to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah and no, because I can remember going into a lot of these towns, especially in the Bible Belt, that before we would get there, it would actually be law enforcement, coming with the long list of rules and regulations on what we can do and what we cannot say. Mm-hmm. And being us, we would say them anyway. You know what I mean? So yeah, there was a lot of security, and then again too with us, by going to the Supreme Court, there was a lot of people that was watching us that we weren't aware that was watching us. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was all kind of police in the concerts with us. Definitely.
Wow. Oh my goodness, it's like right now, if you could pick, like you said, like you know how like you said DC Young Fly and them, they got the 85 South show.
Yeah, right.
You said like if you could pick, you said your 85 South-esque show that you could travel with right now, who would you go on tour with?
I would probably go on tour with some of my counterparts, like probably like JT Money, 69 Boys, Splack Pack, probably like Uncle Luke, Low Rider, City Girls, Trina, Trick Daddy, that sort of thing.
Right. And you said I've always been a huge Trick Daddy fan. You said like,
right.
It's like it's like I just remember like back in the day when we had the box. So you said like there was like the channels that just played videos all day. You said I used to love it when you said those songs would come on, man.
Yep. That was a part of our growing up. We grew up with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you said I'm also a car guy, so you just like what was the best car that you ever owned?
A black on black 67 Caprice Impala convertible. Yeah. I had a few Benzes, a nice Jeep. I had a nice Cadillac too. 86 custom convertible, Coupe de Ville convertible.
Okay.
Yep.
Easy. So like, what are you still into the car culture?
Yeah, yes and no. I kind of like to look at them like right now more than I would like to own one. I'm kind of low key right now, so
ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'll take an old truck or something, or something to get around in that's good on gas.
Right.
Yep.
That is awesome. That is awesome. You said, well, we're going to go ahead and end this thing off. You said, I'm going to let you enjoy your Sunday, brother.
Yes, right. So I'm finna get me a good Sunday dinner right now, some cornbread and baked chicken and all of that. That's good. That good Southern gourmet food that we like on the Sunday.
I know that's right. Well, let everybody know your social medias. You said if they wanted to follow you or you said see what you got going on.
Brother Marquise official Brother Marquise underscores on Instagram and Facebook. That's right. Make sure y'all check out Pilates by Raven too. If you're into working out, fitness, and nutrition and all that. That's my daughter. Pilates by Raven. She was also on the second season of Love is Blind. She has a blue check. I don't even have a blue check on Instagram. I'm not verified yet.
Yeah, we need to highlight. Well, you know they selling them now.
It's selling them right now. I don't even want that. I think I heard LeBron James say he don't even care nothing about it. He ain't paying that money.
You're right.
Blue check. It is what it is.
Right. Nothing wrong with that. You said
post social media.
Right. You said this has been an awesome time. I have to thank you again. You said once again, brother, I'm giving you your flowers while you're still here. You said you've been amazing, and I thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, man. And pass the word. I'm doing podcasts. If you got some more of your podcast buddies out there, y'all hit me. Yep.
Okay. Definitely. And without further ado, this has been That Guy Dub. Make sure y'all like, share, comment, subscribe, turn on that bell notification so you don't miss another video. Without further ado, I love you. Brother Marquise loves you. We checking out of here, man. Peace.